Let's go, Auburn family, up-tempo gang. Blake, it's a Sunday morning, and it kind of feels like that Sunday morning you get after you wake up after a big football win, man. It really,
Yeah.
really does. You get 30 basketball games in the season, so obviously not all of them are as big as some of the others. This was a big time one, man. One we've had circled on the calendar. Tennessee comes into Auburn. Always a big matchup with the history that Bruce Pearl had at Tennessee previously.
hmm
And hell, I mean, that probably Rick Barnes and Bruce Pearl probably top five coaches in the country, man, and two of the best defensive minds. And went at it again, a rock fight like it always seems to be with Tennessee. Our Auburn Tigers pull out the big dub, man. Everything stalled out down here. It's good to see you again. We apologize for missing you guys on our normal Thursday, Friday episodes. We were snowed in. We had to get back to work. We had a lot going on, but glad to be back with y'all, man, and talking about this big Auburn victory over the Tennessee Vols. And Blake, it just your initial thoughts, man, as Janai Broome returns and Auburn just continues to beat caliber teams, man. We just keep stacking quad one wins.
Yeah, so my initial thoughts are things didn't go your way. You didn't have the shooting night that you expected. Now, we can give props to Tennessee and say, hey, you played great defense. That's what you're known for. That's your bread and butter. You made life difficult on the Auburn shooters. You made life difficult on Janai Broome at times. But that's what championship teams do is you find different ways to win games. Sometimes you have to win the ugly ones. And this was an ugly one. Like you mentioned, it felt like a football atmosphere. It felt like a football game. And they referenced that on the commentators, Jay Billis, and they said, hey, this feels like a football matchup. Tennessee made this a football matchup. And it's a rock fight. And sometimes when you don't play that style, you gotta get in that style and find a way to win a game. And that's what happens with championship teams, Dustin, is Auburn can beat you in multiple ways. And that's what makes them so good is they can have an off shooting night. And you can have that one guy like Tahad Pettiford that gives you a spark in the last 2 minutes, who can make a play, who can hit the floater down 4. Janai Broome come back from an ankle injury and give you a double-double and be the life of the team. Love that dude, man. I think he's the best player in the country. I think he deserves the Wooden Award even after the injury. They can hype up Cooper Flagg all they want to. I think Cooper's a great player, probably number 1 overall pick, but Janai Broome deserves the award. And you saw that last night because there were some people saying, hey, get Janai out of there. He doesn't look good. Well, obviously he wasn't 100%. You could tell from the opening tip he wasn't 100%. But my point I want to make about this is we live in the NIL era right now. And everybody wants to throw shade on a lot of these athletes. Everybody wants to say, oh, well, he's sitting. He's making this much money. He's opting out. He's not wanting to play. Well, last night you saw somebody opt in. You saw somebody say, hey, I'm hurt and I'm not 100%, but I'm going to play for my team because this is a top 10 matchup and we got it inside the jungle and we're going to get a damn dub. So shout out to Janai Broome for opting in. Like I said about Colorado and Travis Hunter and Shador, when you tear them down, you gotta build them back up, man. You gotta lift the kids up. So if you're gonna hate on these kids for NIL and opting out of games and not playing when they stub their toe and all this, you got to build them back up when they opt in and they do play. So shout out to Janai because you could tell he was hurt. You could tell that he was limping. Like Maine said, you could tell that ankle was not right. So shout out to Four and what he brought to this team, Dustin. And the last thing I'll say is Miles Kelly. What a shot. What a shot. That's Auburn. That's Auburn, y'all. They're a bunch of snipers. They're shooters. When it's not going your way, you still shoot, baby. You still shoot. You let it fly. And that's what Miles did. That was a huge shot. Just shout out to Bruce and the staff for just plugging away. Keep playing. Because I felt like Auburn would take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back last night.
Mm.
You would get a 5-point lead, and then you would give up a bucket in transition, and then you would give up a 3, and it would be a tie game 30 seconds later. I'm just like, it just felt like every time you got a little length away from Tennessee, you made crucial mistakes to let them crawl right back in it. Uh, and then you got down 5 late, and you made the plays to come back and win the basketball game. So super proud of this team. Super proud of the big shots that were made, the big plays, the defense, Janai Broome, everything, man. Dylan Cardwell, what he does inside the jungle and for this basketball team, I'm going to hate to see him play his final game as an Auburn Tiger. I know he's not an NBA guy. I know, he's not an offensive threat or whatever. But the passion that he brings night in and night out for Auburn is what makes him a guy that can come back to Auburn anytime and he'll always be loved, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to this team, man.
I've never been to a baseball game where I didn't see Dylan Caldwell there.
Yeah,
He's just that guy, man. It's just Auburn, man. This was the first game I watched, Blake, where I said Auburn doesn't win that game without their best player. And I kept wondering, and it's no shade at Mississippi State. They're a good team, but Auburn's just shows you how good Auburn is. Mississippi State's a quality basketball team that might win a game or two in the tournament. But they're just not on the level of Auburn, even without Auburn's best player. Like, Auburn still has enough guys to beat a team like Mississippi State. Now, Rick Barnes in Tennessee, that's a different beast. They're one of the best teams in the country as well. And I don't think you get that game done. I don't think you get over the hump without Janai Broome. So that was the first game where I watched where I was like, okay, that's the level. That's the level of Auburn. I'm wondering what kind of teams Auburn can beat without Janai, and they can beat a lot of them. But when you look at these upper echelon, the best of the best, the top tier in the country, you still need your best player. And he showed up and showed out. And like you said, man, in an era where, this is kind of one of the things too. I think in time we're going to look back on the NIL era, and I think there's going to be more rules and structure coming, collective bargaining and contracts, and it'll be a lot better in the future, I hope. But I think when we look back on this particular time period one day, we're going to be able to say, well, the dogs and the non-dogs are like, it's more obvious now than ever, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We can see. I see who sits out bowl games. Yep. I see Travis Hunter stay in a bowl game for an entire 4 quarters. His team's getting clapped. So now I make note and I say, well, this cat sat out a bowl game when his team was 9-3 and should have went. Here, perfect example. Cam Ward, not a dog. Shedeur Sanders, a dog. It'll show you. So yeah, man, Janai Broome is going to be remembered very fondly for this game. He didn't have to come back. A close loss here doesn't really hurt Auburn in any kind of way. If you listen to Rick Barnes' post-game presser, he wasn't all that upset about their loss. He was like, feel good about my team coming out of this one. Auburn would have felt the same way. It would have only been the second loss to a really good team. It wouldn't have hurt us that bad. Then you've got LSU coming up. Like, don't want to overlook anybody in the SEC. They're playing some people close. They played Bama close yesterday, but you should be able to handle LSU. I was thinking Janai was going to come back versus Ole Miss, but some Tennessee fans decided to kind of leave a little note on his car, put a T in his yard made out of forks, and he is like, you know what? I think I'm going to go today, guys. And he definitely looked hobbled, man, like underneath the rim. He bounce and jump is already not the strength of his game, and he just had none yesterday under the rim. He was not able to really get up and elevate at all, but he still kind of grinded it out, man, and found a way to get points and be productive and have the double-double there. So just a big time. It's inspiring for his teammates to be able to look at him. And, shout out to our guy Ike, because I listened to Ike over at Warport. I listened to his preview, and he said Auburn cannot win this game if they don't control the offensive glass. And Auburn absolutely controlled the glass start to finish, especially on the offensive end, rebounding, getting extra possessions, and finding a way to get the necessary points. It felt early. I tweeted out like 5 minutes into the game. I said, this is a race to 50. This is going to be a race to 50. And that's exactly what it was. And you talk about a culture of winning and finding ways to win different kind of games, man. This Auburn team, Bruce made note of it in the press conference. 4 of the last 6 games won in the last possession. 4 of the last 6. You go back to Texas, South Carolina,
Yep.
this Tennessee game, the Georgia game. Then we can go even further back to Maui, to Houston. Like,
Yep.
we know what this team is, man. We know what this team is, and it makes you feel senior laden. You got a whole lot of guys that have played a whole lot of basketball. They don't freak out in the moment. They can handle themselves. They know what to do. And it's guys like Tanny Johnson who didn't fill the stat sheet up last night, but anytime he had to make a winning play, he made the winning play.
Yeah.
This guy like Denver Jones, who couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat last night. And for a shooter like him, that's probably the most frustrating thing in the world. But he hangs in there. And I saw your tweet that you said, hey, Tahad should have been in this game a little bit earlier. And I agree with you. I agree with you, right? I think that the thinking there was like, well, Denver's locking him up on the defensive end. So Bruce was like, yeah, you know, what do I do here? I know Tahad's a big shot maker and Denver's not feeling it, but Denver's locked down over here. So, like, just all these guys, man, even when you're not playing well, and Miles Kelly, like, he didn't shoot the ball well, but when he had to hit the three, never a doubt, dude. It was smooth off the fingertips, and he banged it home. So this team is made up of everything. We're going to get into a situation that happened on the bench at the end of the show here, and they just ignored all that. And just kept winning. Like and we saw with the airplane thing, which involved the same guy, and all this kind of stuff. Like they just throw it all to the side, and we're not distracted by any of that, and we'll find ways to win, man. So, and the one final thing I'll say is Tennessee coming into the game allowed 58.6 points per game. That's third in the nation. Like, this is what they do. This is what they do. They will get up, they will press you for the entirety of the court. When you cross that half court line, they're going to be right up in your grill. They are going to force you. They know Auburn's going to try to go inside. They know what Auburn's going to do, and they locked it down. And Rick Barnes is a defensive genius. What Tennessee is going to make you do is you're going to spend 15, 16, 17 seconds of the shot clock trying to set up your possession. We kept trying to set up the flex cut and couldn't even get it set up.
Yep.
They're just that good. And it forces bad shots and all that kind of stuff. And you really just have to grind and stay in it mentally for 40 minutes when that kind of thing is going on. And we did it. So just shout out to this team, man. The mental fortitude, the mental toughness they show, and then making the execution, because you can have the right mindset, but you still got to execute in the clutch. And this team, time and time again, different guys. We can go down the roster. Sometimes it's Tahad. This time it was Miles Kelly hitting the big shot. It's been Janai more times than not. CBM, when Janai was out, they step up, bro. This team is full of guys that step up and have that Mamba mentality, and I love it.
Man, it's clutch. It's clutch to see. One thing I'll say about Tennessee, great defensive effort, great defensive team, but their offense is absolute dog water.
It's not good.
You got Lanier and Ziegler, and that's about it. Outside of those two guys, Milicic was poor last night. Okparo, I thought he played pretty well on Cardwell and Broom, but he's not like an offensive threat. You know, he's not a guy that's going to come in and give you 15 to 20. You got two guys, and yeah, I think they play great defense, but their offense, it just ain't cutting it. And some people were saying, oh, that could be a preview of the national title. I just don't think Tennessee – I think they're good. I think they're really good. I just don't think they're national title good because their offense is so poor, if that makes sense.
It does. It kind of feels like some of maybe some teams we've had in the past.
Yeah. Maybe like a last year, right?
Yeah,
defense
I was kind of thinking the year before.
Yeah. You could do that. Like, defense is really good, but offense is just, you got two guys, and other than that, outside of that, you know, it's just like, yeah. And
well, Ziegler averages 7.6 assists. So if you shut him down, if he's not facilitating, there's nothing there. And Auburn stopped that, and that was it.
And I will shout out Rick Barnes. He went for the win last night. He went for the win. He was on the road. He was like, hey, I don't think I want this to go into overtime. Let's just go for the win. But you had Ziegler taking the three, and Wendell, I saw Wendell's tweet on it. He was like, that's a choice right there. Like, that's a choice. It's like Ziegler for three to win the game. Yeah, but there again, they've only got two guys, and they wasn't letting Lanier shoot it. So that's just the downside of Tennessee for me, is they could be national championship level great, but their offense just lacks it for me a little bit. And that's one reason why I thought Auburn would win this game by 8 to 10, 12 points, because I didn't think that their offense could keep up with us. Now, I didn't know that we were going to shoot 30%
Yeah.
and 15% from three, and 70% from the free throw line. Y'all, we got to get better at the line.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was it's been happening in little spurts where you can see the old Auburn at the free throw line, and we got to get better. Tahad last night clanked the first one, hit the second one, clanked the first one. Like, we're gonna have situations where we need free throws down the stretch to win big games. We got to get better at the line. But to your point of why is Auburn and Tennessee so low scoring, and I thought Wendell made a great point on Twitter last night, is he said Rick Barnes and Bruce game plan against each other the best in the country. He was like, they watch film on each other better than anyone. He was like, they know what both are trying to do. And he said the preparation in game week for both coaches is just out of this world. So, like, that's another reason is, why is Auburn and Tennessee always this way? Why is it a rock fight? Why is it sloppy? Why is it, a lot of fouling and things like that? It's because both coaches know what they want to do. The players, they have a mindset. They know what they want to do in this game. And I think that's the reason you always get these results with Auburn and Tennessee. You get nail-biting games where great defense is played and the offense struggles. So, shout out to Auburn, man, for winning this game, finding a way to win. One thing I think is pretty cool is the outlive night at Auburn. What Bruce has created in that, and then the Tennessee environment. And it was all really cool last night watching him. He's coaching against Tennessee, the Outlive Foundation, and all the shirts, and the moment before the game where you've got the card and you're repping who's got cancer in your family or somebody that you know. That's all really, really cool to me, and something special that he has created. And I always love when every year when Auburn does it and Bruce is just right there, so involved in it, man. That one, it touches me, man. That whole night and just seeing everybody involved in it and getting into it. It's special stuff. And then for him to beat Tennessee makes it that much better, right?
Yeah, he always takes the opportunity to do that during a big game. A lot of times
Yeah.
it's Tennessee, or sometimes it's been Alabama, but
Yeah.
he uses his platform for good, man, all the time in a lot of different ways. So, yeah, he's a blessing. He's one of the best things to happen to Auburn University. He's one of the best things to happen to the community.
No doubt.
And you know, when you talk about him and Rick Barnes game planning against each other, and they've coached against each other so many times now, and they've coached against each other so many times at the programs that they're both currently at. So he knows what Rick Barnes is doing at Tennessee. Rick Barnes knows what Bruce Pearl is doing at Auburn. Special teams, and I know people used to that in football terms, but in basketball, that's the inbounds, defending the inbounds, and all that kind of stuff. Man, in this kind of game where you know exactly what the other opponent's doing, and it's just about execution, the simplest things. Auburn probably won the game last night because of the way they defended the inbound, and then some of the looks we drew up from the inbound, especially underneath the baseline, inbounding the ball from underneath the basket. And I don't know if there's a better coach in the country than Bruce Pearl at those things. And I'm so used to seeing it because he's our coach. He's been our coach for so long now. It's like, oh yeah, well Auburn's, yeah, of course you had to call timeout because you almost got a 5-second violation. But man, like in this kind of game, it really, really stands out as one of those things that is the difference. So yeah, just it's really fun to watch these two guys compete. It's fun to see the SEC where it's at, man. Like just to be able to sit
Yeah.
back on a Saturday and watch the league kind of play out this way. It's big time, man. And it's funny. Everyone's we finally had a national title where the SEC wasn't involved, and the whole country's got shit to say all of a sudden. And we'll see what the Final Four ends up looking like. And I bet you we'll be right back in football next year. So this league is just night and day from where it was 5 years ago, dude.
You know, one thing I'll say before we get over to these comments, Dustin, is last night, I hate complaining about this, y'all. I hate it.
You
It's
don't do
my
it a lot.
least it's my least favorite thing to do. But what we watched last night was an absolute ref show. Some guys that wanted to make this game about themselves, and there wasn't anybody in that arena that wanted to watch the zebra show. It's just not. And you disrupted the flow of the game multiple times, calling ticky-tacky fouls that just look, we gotta do something about this. We have to review these officials, man. We have to sit them down at the podium. I've said this multiple times. We've got to do something. Oh, I watched Alabama and Texas A&M a week ago, and they shot like 96 free throws between the two of them. That's in a 40-minute basketball game, y'all. And last night, there was a play at the end of the game, and I want to say this to Tennessee fans if you watch this. Janai Broome got away with a hold, and Tennessee got called for a travel. Now, one thing I'll say is where the official was standing, he could not see the arm of Janai Broome with the hold, so therefore he couldn't call that because he never saw it. He never saw it. So he did see a travel, which gave Auburn the basketball. But for my Tennessee fans who want to get on Twitter and complain or TikTok and complain about what happened right there, is you chose to make this a football atmosphere. You chose to make this a rock fight out of the gate. You chose the way you wanted to make this game. And now you can't complain about some of the stuff that was missed and some of the stuff that was called, because you were the reason why this game was like this. All right. You dictated this from the tip. This is how you wanted to make it. You wanted to make it sloppy. You wanted to make it a struggle. And that's what happens. So I don't want to hear all this, well, Janai got away with this, that changed the game. There were a lot of things that changed the game, man. There was some stuff that was called that you were just shaking your head and you were just like, come on, man. Like college basketball deserved better last night. And Jay Billis even mentioned it early in the first half. He was like, boy, I just hope this doesn't turn out to be a rock fight and a foul fest. And I don't think the officials could get a grasp on the game. And sometimes I think they just call stuff to call it. We watched last night Tennessee go up for a layup. The ball hits off the glass, hits off the rim, falls off the rim, and then a foul is called. I'm sorry, I just don't get it in basketball where you have to wait to see if the ball goes in to call a foul. Y'all, if you see a foul, it's a foul right away. If he makes the basket, that's and one. All right. You don't have to sit there and wait to see if the ball goes in, but that's what's happening. It's like, it's just sad, man. It's sad that we have to start finding officials. We have to do something. We have to have a point system to say, hey, look, this is where these officials rank. Like, this is the crews. This is where they rank. All right. We got a top 10 matchup. We're going to send our best crew to this game. Like, they have to get graded out and something. There has to be something. And then after the game, you should have to go to the podium and answer questions. and say, hey, why'd you call that? Or why didn't you call that? What did you see there? It's sad, man. I think college basketball deserved better last night.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what the most frustrating part to me about it is, especially with basketball, like what we just watched last year in SEC football. I don't even have. I could go for 3 hours about how ridiculous and pathetic it was because football doesn't move at the pace that basketball does. Like I always tend to give a basketball official a little bit of leeway because it's like, well, man, there's a lot happening and quick, and these guys are jumping through the air and all, and I get it, but I'm watching all these games yesterday, and I'm like, man, it's so bad though. It's so bad, and it's the inconsistency. Blake, it's like if the umpire behind home plate, if his strike zone's a little off, but it's consistent, then by the second or third inning, we're like, all right, man, we know that this outside corner he's taking
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? With this one, last night was so frustrating for both teams. Like I just thought it was a poorly officiated game.
Yeah.
I'm not on the side that like Auburn particularly was getting hosed. I just thought it was a bad,
Yep.
very poorly officiated game all around. And to me, it's the inconsistencies. It's if I was officiating this game, I would say it's Rick Barnes, Bruce Pearl. We know what this matchup is. I'm not calling a lot tonight.
Yeah.
And you would at least been able to look at it at the end and say, hey, they called it one way as far like it was a physical game and they let it be physical. It's how the NBA used to be. I don't know how the NBA is now because I'm one of the 50 million people that have quit watching it. But it used to be in the regular season, you were like, this game might get to 110, 115 points. But in the postseason, it's going to be a race to 100 because it's going to physical up a little bit. It's going to tighten up, and the refs are going to let a few more things go. And that's the way that it used to be. And you knew it was going to be officiated that way. So you prepared your team for the postseason to play in that kind of manner. That's all I'm asking for is some consistency from these officiating. I mean, you call some ticky-tack stuff at one point in time, and then CBM gets fouled 3 different times on the same dunk attempt, and you don't call it at all. And it's like, I don't – the lack of consistency and the lack of just a baseline of this is what we're doing. That's my problem with the officiating. And, I echo your point a million times. If you show me that Dylan Carwell is not a good free throw shooter by putting his stats up there, then you need to show me that Pat Adams is an asshole and doesn't know how to call basketball games by putting his stats up there.
Yeah.
It's got fair is fair.
Look,
and I know he didn't officiate the game last night.
That's another thing, too, is CBM gets hacked across the forearm. No foul. Then Zakai Ziegler, the very next possession, Zakai Ziegler drives the lane and gets a foul call. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, you can clearly see 3 dudes. One, there was lower body contact on CBM. Second guy was across the forearm. Third guy was on top of the head. How do you not call a foul there?
Crazy.
I don't know. I didn't get a whole lot. I felt like they were trying to play with the pace of the game. I don't know. It just felt really weird how that game was officiated last night. And I don't think people hated watching the game because of the offensive performance. I think people hated watching the ref show.
Yeah.
That's what people hated. And it got old quick. So we just got to figure out a system. We got to figure out something to make this better. But one other thing I do want to say really quick, Dustin, is Auburn University. Whatever you got to do when College game day comes to town, figure it out. All right? Figure it out. Barricading people inside of certain lanes and getting people to push people over and all that. Figure it out. All right? Because some of the stuff that was reported yesterday is absolutely wild. If you have to give out tickets that is based off of how many games you've attended or how many years you've been enrolled at Auburn or how many hours you're taking that semester or whatever, figure it out. Make it cleaner. It was a madhouse out there. People got trampled. They said people's legs got broken. I mean, figure it out. Make something happen in that department, because I just feel like it was a bad look for Auburn yesterday when stuff like that was coming out. I think you got to do better, and don't tell me you can't, because you can. There's ways to set it up, and so these students can get into the building properly without injury, and they can enjoy themselves. So,
yeah, for sure. Let's be more prepared. We knew that was going to be a wild scene, and yeah, Auburn, you're definitely better than that, and I'm hopeful that they'll get it fixed in the future. It's not what you
no
want
doubt.
trending, not what you want trending on what's supposed to be a big day for you. Junior day, a lot of big recruits on campus, all kind of centered around the basketball. That's not the story that we wanted out there on social media yesterday. Let's get into some of these comments before we end up talking about, or we'll finish the show out talking about what happened on the bench yesterday in a situation that I think the young man is lucky that a win happened, or it would be talked about a lot more. Let's get to some of you guys' comments. Karen Parker, War Damn Eagle up tempo. Karen's always in here. Basketball, football, baseball. Karen will be here repping, and we appreciate her for that. Karen says, thank Tennessee for having a poor shooting performance too. Yeah, I mean Auburn forced them into some of those bad shots, and like Blake pointed out, they already kind of lack the offensive weapons. So if you make it tough on them, then they're going to have the difficulty knocking down shots, especially on the road. Maine said Broom was limping us to victory. Ankle was not right. Yeah, it was obvious. It was obvious from the get-go. He came out there that first possession. I was like, whoa, is this going to be okay? Is this going to be okay? We might need to wait till Ole Miss, but he grinded it out. He's a true warrior. Jahad was great. I know he only had 2 or 3 fouls, so I was surprised he wasn't played more at the end of the game. We check in with like 2:37 left, I think it was.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this, Blake?
Man, I get what you said.
Yeah.
About Denver and the defense. I just feel like Tahad he's a better ball handler. He's more creative on the offensive end than Denver is. Denver's also in a little slump right now, shooting. Tahad gives you more on the offensive end, and I don't feel like obviously he's not Denver, but I don't feel like he's terrible on defense. I just feel like you were down, and Tahad, you needed a spark on offense. And once Tahad come in the game, you got that. I think you felt it from the Auburn bench and the guys on the court. So I like Tahad at the point when it's closing time. I do. I just feel like it might need to be from the get-go. We might be getting to the point where it needs to be Tahad at the point from the get-go. I don't want to fix. If it's not broken, don't mess with it. Don't fix it. Don't try to fix it. But Tahad's he's a creator. He's a facilitator. The basketball IQ is off the charts. He can get to his own shot, the step back, all that good stuff, man. Where Denver is more of set the offense up. You gotta get Denver in the high ball screen. He ain't got that motion like Tahad where he can just get to the rim.
He's a 2 playing a 1 because JP didn't.
Exactly. He is out of position, and I like what he's done. Right, this ain't it's not Denver Jones ain't doing his job. It's Denver Jones is doing another job because we missed on a portal guy.
Yeah.
So he's having to fill in on another job. So I don't know. I just like Tahad in closing time. I think when you're down, like we were when Tahad come in the game, you saw it. Now, if we were up by 5, whatever, Denver, man, defense, I'll ride with that. But I want Tahad in there just because I feel like he's the guy that creates offense.
And he's shown us all season long that those moments are when he's his best. The big games, the big moments. And I know when there's like 4 or 5 minutes left, I kind of pulled up Twitter and I was like checking on him just to make sure he wasn't like hurt or when he like twists his ankle or anything like that. And ultimately he checks back in the game. So yeah, I agree with you, man. When you tweeted it out last night, I was like, yeah, I hear you. I mean, it gets to that point where it's like, hey, we need a bucket. We need to kind of get the offense sparked up a little bit. And it's not a situation like you just said with Aiden Holloway last year, where it's like, well, I can't have you in. Yeah, right. I can't have you in because you can't play D. It's not that kind of situation. Tahad's not Denver Jones on defense, but you can still put him in there and he can make things happen. And yeah, I just can't wait for that matchup, man. I really can't. Daniel says, I hope the football team is taking notes on how to win. They're not. The basketball program has been good at Auburn for a decade now, and the football team's been trash. So if they're figuring out, they're gonna have to figure out how to win themselves. They are not taking notes from the football team. I promise you that. They haven't been anyway. Maybe this bunch is, but no, they're not, buddy. Anthony says my boy Denver is in a bit of a shooting slump. Hope he snaps out of it soon. There's only one way to get out of a shooting slump, Anthony. There's an old story about Allen Iverson. He was 0 for 17 one game. They were down by like 10. Couple seconds to go. He hits a meaningless 3. Sixers lose by 7. He stares the guy in the face that he hit the 3 on, meaningless 3 at the end of the game, and says, hit that MFer, didn't I? You just got to keep shooting it, man. He's like, you just got to keep shooting it. You got to have the same attitude and just be a dog. So listen, and the thing I'll say for Denver is, and he's playing out of position, so it's like, I just wish he was at the 2 spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I've been saying this since last year, Denver needs to get to the hole a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think he knows he's a good shooter, and he's like, I can hit this shot. Right now, man, you're shooting 90-something% from the free throw line. They're probably going to foul you, but he can finish. He's got a nice layup package. He can finish. So I would like to see Denver, when he is struggling like this for extended period of times, or if he just misses 2 or 3 in a game, get to the hole, man. Get to the basket, and good things will come. I think Denver's going to be fine because of the way he plays defense. He's going to create easy looks for himself one way or the other, and plus he's just a great shooter. He's a good player. He's going to be okay. Jamie says, huge W despite the refs being drunk. Yeah, they were drunk, high, something, bro. I don't know. They had something going. They had something going on, or maybe they were. It's probably Jamie. What's scary is they were completely sober. They're just SEC officials, man.
Rough.
Yeah. EPW says disappointed with the actions of Jahki Howard. Do you believe his days at Auburn are numbered? So let's go right there. EPW bringing up the little side story last night. Jahki Howard sent to the locker room. I put in parentheses attitude, because a lot of times you get sent to the locker room with an ankle, or Janai had to go in there with a shoulder, and Nah, he just didn't think he was playing enough. Apparently, didn't like his rotation, and then Bruce got on him because he didn't close out well enough on a 3 that ultimately Tennessee hit. And anybody that's watched Bruce Pearl, we know how he coaches. We know that, Jabari Smith, most talented player Bruce Pearl's ever coached. Did you ever see him take it easy on Jabari? Like, it's not, you come play for BP, man. You know what's going to happen. And if this was just a one-off incident, you would say, okay, whatever. But I've watched, there was a show, and there's a video on YouTube. So I don't know if the show may have been on Amazon Prime. Who knows with all the streaming services nowadays. But I watched a cut-up of the show that was about high school prospects. And Jahki Howard was in the show. This was before he ever came to Auburn. A lot of this shit, man. A lot of this. And I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I'd cut him. I'd have cut him right there type thing. It'd have been like something you seen off of Last Chance U. I said, you can go, you can pack your stuff, you can get up out of here. We're the number 1 team in the country. We're getting a massive win at home. We got a guy like Chris Moore on the team, who I've watched for 4 or 5 years, 6, 7, however long it's been, sacrifice and just be happy to be part of the program. And I think what really stands out to me, Blake, is be who you can afford to be. Antonio Brown got away with a lot of crap in the NFL for a long time because he was the best receiver in the NFL. Jahki, you are a role player. A true freshman, not a Tahad Pettiford, McDonald's All-American, highly rated guy with just big investment in you. You're not that. You're a role-playing freshman on a team that the last time you got in trouble and didn't play for 4 or 5 games, however long it was, they won every game without you. You're literally viewed as a plus, an addition. Oh, and we got points from Jahki. No one says, what are we going to be without Jahki? I'm surprised he's still in the program. Bruce Pearl, after the game, said he's going to be fine. From everything I've seen from high school to last night, he's not going to be fine. Mike G posted a picture of the entire team huddled up in the huddle, and he's the only player sitting on the bench pouting. What are you pouting about? And Chris Morris just kind of look at him like, dude, this team is so experienced, Blake. I'm not worried about him dragging them down. I think it'll get to the point to where they're just like, all right, man, whatever. Because again, it's like if Denver Jones was doing this, if Miles Kelly or somebody like if Chaney Johnson was doing this, then you'd be affected by it. We don't need this kid. We don't need it. So I'm a little confused as to why he's even still on the team. A wild situation. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of Jahki Howard. And Blake, I'm 5'10", 165 pounds. I was never, ever going to play college basketball. But boy, growing up, I damn sure had a dream to play for the Auburn Tigers. And I'm watching this kid squander his opportunity away with a piss-poor attitude, and it pisses me off, and it makes no sense.
I'm one of those people that has backed Jahki Howard ever since the plane incident, ever since that clip run around on Twitter of just a lack of effort. And what I saw last night was inexcusable. I can't even really put it into words of what happened. It's just piss poor. And I thought you were learning. I thought you were getting better. I saw hustle on defense. And then last night, you went back to the same old guy. Out of nowhere. Like, I thought we were seeing growth. And last night, you went right back. This isn't high school anymore. You're not the best player anymore. There's all these other guys on this team that are better than you. Great talent. Great talent. But you have to understand that you aren't the guy, and you're not going to be the guy. No matter how well you start playing the rest of the year, you're never going to be the guy on this team. Now, if you fix the attitude and you decide to come back to Auburn, you could be the guy in the future. But this year, you're not. You're not, and you're not going to be no matter what. No matter if you went out next game and hit 5 threes and you hit a couple mid-range shots, and let's say you dumped in 28 on LSU, you're still not going to be the guy. It's still going to run through Janai and Tahad and Miles Kelly and Denver and CBM and Chaney and Dylan. All right, you're that far down the totem pole. That's how far you are. You're not the guy. Like Dustin said, you're just an addition. All right? You're just a guy where if you hit a shot, we're like, hey, good stuff, Jahki. Good stuff. We see it for the future. For you to go in the locker room and grab your cell phone and fire off a tweet, get off the team. Get off my team. Get off my team, dog. Get out. Get out. I don't, no part of it. I've been a huge Jahki dude where I've just said, hey, work with the kid, let him grow as a kid. Some people are different. He's not an outgoing person. He doesn't really say a whole lot. But for you to rip a tweet off in the locker room at the half and then come back out, not even do shoot around, not even warm up for the second half, you went straight to the bench, that's a child. That's a child. That's not somebody that's trying to grow into a man. That's still a child who is in his feelings that he isn't the best player on the team anymore. This ain't high school, man. This ain't high school. I thought Shivers said it great last night on Twitter. Take your opportunity to get coached hard. Don't squander the opportunity. Take the opportunity. Because I'll tell you this, Auburn basketball hasn't been great in the history of their existence, Jahki. They haven't been great. They've only been great since Bruce Pearl got here. But Auburn is bigger than you. Auburn was around way before Jahki Howard was, and Auburn will be around way after Jahki Howard leaves. So you aren't him. You aren't the guy. You aren't the highest rated prospect that Auburn's ever had. That's just the facts. So whatever's going on up here, get it right. Figure it out. You have a coach that has poured NBA guys into the league. You have a coach that gives everybody opportunity after opportunity, and look at you. You're getting those same opportunities. Scott, he tweeted what was it, Dustin? A head emoji with
emojis the symboling he's frustrated and
yeah.
off.
Yeah. It was wrapped around the head, do it like woo-saw or something like that, like I'm pissed off, calm down, yada, yada, yada. I don't really know what it meant. I just knew that it meant like, hey, basically, I can't wait to get the hell out of here is the way I took it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then he comes out, he tweets it out, and then he comes out right after tweeting it out, which, Scott, you don't tweet at halftime, right? You don't
exactly,
tweet on your phone at halftime.
This ain't middle school.
Yeah.
This ain't middle school ball. This ain't high school ball where you're like, hey, bro, where's the party at after the game? You know, like where the girls gonna be at after the game? You know, we're up 20. You know, we know we're about to blow this team out in the second half. What's going on? You know, do we go to Sonic and get that root beer float and then hit up the party? You know, like this ain't high school. You don't tweet during the middle of a game. I don't know, man. I just hate to see him revert back to what happened at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Because you look at, I just want to say this. You look at Turtle. Have you heard anything else out of Turtle?
Nope.
All I see is a dude who gets into the game last night, even though he didn't play a lot. He got into the game. He busted his ass. He went right back to the bench, put his stuff on, and said, hey, let's go, baby. Let's go. He was a clapper last night. That's okay with Turtle. We won. Jahki, on the other hand, I don't get it. Figure it out, man. I'm kind of exhausted talking about it at this point. It's like if you I'm not Bruce Pearl. I know that. But if I was a coach and one of my kids fired off a tweet at halftime like that, after you just got mad on the court and flipped your little chair over and stormed off like a kid, and you go in there and fire off a tweet like that, get out. Just, that's it. And I get it that you don't want to create a distraction middle of the season and all that. But I think at this point, the teammates are like, hey, bro, like we don't even look your way anymore. Like, you're just a lone duck over there. They don't even mess with you. It just kind of feels like he's one of the guys that don't even hang out with the team. He's just on the team. He's just on the team. Like, when they go do stuff out in public, I wonder if Jahki even rolls with the team.
I feel like they're all going in one direction, mentality and attitude-wise, and then he's going the opposite.
Yeah. That's why I say is like, are they – I know they're so close and I know they're tightly bonded. So, in the public, is he even rolling out with them? Like, is
Right.
he going to eat in Auburn with the team? Like when a couple and four of them say, "Hey, man, let's go grab lunch or something." Like it just feels like he's just miles apart from the team and the chemistry that these guys have. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but something's got to happen.
I'm sure you saw this in your high school sports career, Blake. I remember we had a kid in high school. I'm not gonna say his name, but I remember just an athlete, man, 6'4", about like 205, 210 pounds. Quarterback got hurt. He steps up and plays quarterback for a couple games. Well, could play point, could play forward on the basketball team, could hit the damn baseball, could throw it from the outfield fence to home plate. He's in prison now.
Mm-hmm.
Just and had USF, FAU, these kind of schools looking at it, even though his grades were terrible. And coaches just tried to drag him along, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we all tried as his buddies and classmates and teammates, like, bro, just get it together, man. Stop with this stuff. You're good. Stop. You have a future. And he just bad attitude. Just bad attitude. It just wasn't going to happen.
Yep.
I'm sure everybody out there knows somebody like that from their high school days, and it sucks when you see it. And I'll just finish this point out with this. We said all the time, winning cures everything. And Jahki Howard, personally, he's really lucky that Auburn won this game.
Yeah.
Because if Auburn lost this game, he would not be the side backstory at the end of it. Everyone's hype. Everyone wants to talk about the big win against Tennessee, which furthermore, to the point, Jahki, you're irrelevant, bud.
Mm-hmm.
You're irrelevant. You don't have to be irrelevant. We want you to be part of this team, want you to be part of this Auburn family. There's 9, 10, something like that, seniors on this team. You've got an opportunity moving forward if you get your stuff together. But, buddy, like Blake said, Auburn's bigger than Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Auburn was bigger than Walker Kessler. Auburn was bigger than Jabari Smith.
Yep.
Okay? Hell, football. Auburn's bigger than Cam Newton. Auburn's bigger than Bo Jackson. Auburn's bigger than Frank Thomas. Even the guys that got statues. Auburn's bigger than that. It's bigger than you, Jahki Howard. I promise. And it will keep right on moving without you. And this team will keep right on winning without you. You can ride along and be a contributor that gets a championship ring. Or you can be 35 years old sitting in a bar one day going, man, did I drop the ball on that one? On a human level, I'm hoping he gets it figured out. I have a theory. I'm not there every day. I have a theory that Bruce is from Boston. Jahki's from Boston. He's got a little place in his heart trying to help out somebody from his hometown. I bet that's what's going on. But, man, there's head cases from Pensacola. And although I would try to support them and move them up, and look, there's some high school kids in Pensacola that are really good, and you don't really see me tweeting out and supporting their stuff because I know what they are, right? Like, so it's just, I get it. I get it, Bruce. I know what you're trying to do, and I don't know what's going on in Jahki's life and all that kind of stuff. And, like, on a human level, I'm wishing the best for him. But, he needs to figure it out, man, because this team's gonna keep on rolling. Now, the good thing is that this team has shown us, like you said, they just won't even look his way. Oh, he's over there pouting. Whatever. We got a ball game to win. So that's the good thing, man. But I wonder how much longer this is going to go on. Let's put ourselves on the spot, Blake. Yes or no? Jahki Howard finishes the season on this roster. I'm gonna say no. No way. This is the last episode.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no because after last night, you showed me that it's just gonna continue to happen. So,
yeah, and I hate it.
No.
I hope we're wrong on that. Before we get out of here, a lot of new faces in here today. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Please thumbs up, sub to the channel. I'm sure some of you guys haven't. And we got some member content coming around the corner. Me and Blake gonna be in Mobile this week. Well, Blake for sure gonna be in Mobile covering the Senior Bowl. I'm credentialed, just trying to get the credentials to me so I can show up. But we're gonna get that figured out, man. Got some content coming up. Got Junior Day happening this weekend, so currently gathering the intel. We'll pump out some stuff throughout the week for you guys on that. I just recorded a member pod that we will have up for you guys in a couple of days on a member on somebody who is already a part of the 2026 class, who I'm very excited about. Had a massive junior season. Is kind of solidifying himself as the foundation, the main recruiter for this 2026 class. So we'll have that film session dropping for you guys this week. $3.99 a month for the JV squad. You get the member shout outs, priority reply to comments. That means if I see your comment in the chat, if Blake sees your comment in the chat, and you got that little member icon next to it, we're going to pull you up, baby. Early access to videos. We do our interviews like we just did with Phillip Dukes last week. You're going to get to see it a day or two before everybody else does. Varsity squad. That's where you really want to be. The $5.99 a month. Recruiting update videos. We do our film breakdown. You get in the gameplay group chat. Gameplay with you. I have played several of our members in NCAA. Some of y'all have got me. I have gotten some of y'all, or excuse me, EA College Football 25. But definitely, man, shoot me a DM if you're a member. If you want to get up and play College Football 25 or Madden or whatever. Still waiting on somebody to challenge me in NHL 25. Been lots of fun there. Watch the film for Auburn baseball. Blake does a great job with that. Baseball is just a couple of weeks away, man. We are going to be pumping out the content, getting exclusive baseball content for you guys. I think the Tigers are going to do a little bit better than they did last year on that baseball diamond, man. So we're excited to see them guys turn around. We'll be up there covering the team, doing all that kind of stuff, and discounted merchandise as well. Merchandise, you say? Yes, sir. Go over to the warportshop.com, get you this level up t-shirt. I saw our guy Fire Freeze a couple weeks ago posted that he had got one for him and some others for people in his family for Christmas. So go out there, do that, man. Support us in all those ways. We would greatly appreciate it. And we will be back Tuesday night. Well, when's the basketball game versus LSU? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
We will not be live if Auburn is playing.
Yeah.
So I can promise you that.
Let's see. Real quick. It is
Wednesday at 6.
It is Wednesday at 6. So see y'all Tuesday.
Tuesday at 7. We'll see y'all, man. War Damn Eagle. Love y'all. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all next time.
War damn, baby.